It was supposed to be just another drive home, a quiet, uneventful trip on an empty stretch of highway. But what happened that night still haunts me to this day. This is my story. The story of the Phantom Ride. I had left my friend's cabin a little later than planned. The night was cold, and the fog was thick as a blanket, swallowing the road ahead. My GPS had stopped working hours ago, and the radio played nothing but static. I should have turned back, but I didn't. As the minutes stretched into hours, the highway seemed to stretch endlessly. The same twisted trees, the same cracked road, over and over again. It was like I was going in circles. And then I saw her, a woman, alone, in the middle of nowhere. She didn't move, didn't wave for help, just stood there like a statue. My instincts screamed at me to drive past, but something about her felt magnetic. Ethan, hesitant. Are you okay? Do you need a ride? Against my better judgment, I unlocked the door, and she climbed in without a word. The air in the car turned icy, and the faint scent of flowers, like lilies, filled the cabin. I tried to make small talk, but she never responded. She only stared ahead, her hands folded neatly in her lap. It started with the whispers, soft at first, like a breeze through the trees. But soon, they grew louder, overlapping voices that made no sense. I turned off the radio, but the whispers didn't stop. Ethan, muttering, "This isn't real. It's just the exhaustion." I tried to convince myself it was all in my head, but then she spoke. "Woman, you missed the turn." "Ethan, what turn?" There was no turn. Her lips curled into the faintest smile and she pointed ahead. I followed her finger, and there it was, a dirt road that hadn't been there a second ago. Every instinct screamed at me to stop, to turn back, but I couldn't. It was like the car was driving itself. The deeper we went, the darker it got. And then, the engine died. "Ethan, what's happening? Who are you?" "Woman," whispering, "you shouldn't have stopped." Suddenly, the car doors locked. The whispers outside grew into a cacophony of screams. Ethan tried to start the car, but it wouldn't budge. The woman began to laugh, a deep, guttural sound that chilled him to his core. I ran like my life depended on it, because it did. The screams followed me, echoing through the woods. But no matter how far I ran, I always ended up back at the road. And there she was, standing by the car, waiting. That's when I realized there was no escape. She wasn't just a hitchhiker. She was the highway's curse, and I was her next victim. To this day, no one knows what happened to me on that highway. But if you ever find yourself driving alone at night and you see a woman in white, keep driving. Don't stop, because once you let her in, she never lets you go.